And we're live. You know, I was really kind of hoping we could do this in black and white.
Oh,
But there's no way to do it. There's no way to do it in black
there's
and
no
white.
filter or anything, but yeah.
Right, exactly, right? So
we can just turn our lights off.
I guess we could do that. But hey, for the good of all crew.
For the good of all crew.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Disney Movie Review. We are back and better than ever, and this week's going to be an interesting week. We have got a old movie to review. 1940 Swiss Family Robinson. Now, there have been other iterations of this. I think there was a 1961 and a couple
1960.
Other ones.
1962 was the well-known one.
Right.
This was the first one.
Right. This was the first one. And we've reviewed it. I watched it. Just finished it today. I'll be honest. Dan finished it on Friday.
Yep.
But we are going to review this movie. We're going to talk about it. And we'll get into it like always. But before we do that, first and foremost, let me say hello to my partner channel over here.
Hello. We are back on your channel, dude. We're back on your channel, dude. After 3 weeks on mine. It's great to be back on your channel. Great to see some really great familiar faces in the chat and some new faces too.
I agree. Hey, look, Disney Movie Review is just a night for Dan and I and everybody in the chat to get together, talk about some fun movies, give reviews on it. It's just like kind of a night out with friends, whether we get 5 people, whether we get 50, or whether we get 500 watching. We don't care. We're just glad you're here, and we love talking about these movies, and they're always a blast for sure. But
for sure. But we're back.
We are back. Yeah, I'm glad it's back on our channel. Dan obviously was very admirably taking over for the last few weeks, and he did fantastic. So I appreciate you, bud.
And I do want to say, if you guys haven't checked out the reviews we've done over the last 3 weeks, come check out the reviews on my channel, and we have the whole playlist of every movie we've reviewed. By the way, being that this stream is our 40th episode, right? All 40 episodes are on a playlist on my channel. If you want to catch up on all the reviews we've done, both on Walt's channel and my channel, come check it out. We've done some really great films.
He's got them all.
Got them all there.
Yeah, he's got them all there for sure. Let's do a little bit of quick mousekeeping, and then we'll get into this movie. Dean at The Live Place. Check him out, theliveplace.com. Family-friendly streams throughout the week. If you're looking for a Disney YouTuber, more than likely you're on there. He's got over, I think 110 or something like that on the Live Place.
150 now.
Something like, oh my gosh, can you imagine? 150. And it's not all Disney, though. So if you're looking for something else, that is still the place to go. He is your TV guide for live streams, for sure. Partner channels are Disney Dan, this guy right over there. Usually Saturday nights with Disney Fiasco. That's kind of right now, kind of not as frequent as we're used to, not as regular, but he is here on Sundays with me for Disney Movie Review as well, and maybe some vlogs coming out in the future, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and of course, Steve's World goes live on Mondays with Just Another Monday Night. Steve will also do from time to time some Instagram stuff where he'll go live on Instagram, so check him out over there as well. Members, thank you to all of our members. Membership, we have it. We want to thank our newest members that just joined this week. And thank you to everybody who is a member. Your generosity and loyalty is absolutely fantastic. And Melissa and I are very honored. Thank you. And let's say hi to everybody in the chat real fast.
Yeah,
We've got a few people in here. We got Bill M. Welcome in, Bill. Good to see you. He said, this is one of my favorites, even with the Disney Plus warning, tobacco warning that they give out beforehand, for sure. Debbie Burnfell is here, one of our members. Brian Eisenhart, another member, is in the house. What's up, Brian? There's Melissa. Just made me dinner. It was fantastic, as usual. Megan G, another member, is here. Super Disney fam. Nick and Shayna and the kids, welcome in. They are also members. Welcome. Good to have you here. Kevin Sparrow. What's up, Kevin? Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Cynthia Candy Mom, our first member, is in the house. Rebecca Virginia DIY. Fantastic. You got to check out her channel. She does all these DIY stuff.
Nice.
It's absolutely amazing. She's also a member. Welcome in. Matt Simba 2, another member, is in the house, Matt. Hope you're doing well. Oh my gosh, it just jumped. We got a few people in here already. That's awesome. Thank you all. Liz, is it Zapayak? I'm going to try Zapayak. I think that's wrong, but just in case. Liz, welcome in. Good. Elisa, welcome in. Nicole, Sheldon's mom, another member, is here. Richard Scott, Princess Tadashi. Good to have you all here. I think we're up to date on everybody. And
I think we are.
oh no, Mama-san, Mama-san, good to see you again. How are you? Thanks for coming in the stream earlier today as well. Awesome, guys. We are here. Be sure to hit that like button. We're already up to 29 likes. That's amazing.
That shape. It looks like this shape.
Daniel.
Yes, Walter.
1940.
I know.
1940. This movie is 81 years old, Dan.
Can I say we are no stranger to black and white films on this review show? We've done The Shaggy Dog, we've done The Cat from Outer Space. So we've done our fair share of black and white films, but it's been a while since we've done a black and white film. But we've done a lot of classic films over the last couple of weeks. We've been on this like bit of a roll here. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I got to say hi to Tanya, that crazy
Tanya.
Disney lady. What is going on, Tanya?
Good to see you, Tanya. Long time no see.
She's got a fantastic channel. Yeah, I'm sure you all know it.
I miss her like crazy.
I know. Tanya's fantastic. She has a great one.
Can I just say, I've had many laughs in the parks with Tanya and Robin and missing those guys like crazy.
We have to. Actually, we got to get together, Tanya. You, me, Melissa, and Robin at some point and have dinner or something. We've been talking about it for forever. And
just a very quick side note, I remember the night before Galaxy's Edge opened, it was Tanya and Robin and myself and a few others who were in Magic Kingdom, and we were all going crazy going through Cinderella Castle, saying it's Galaxy's Edge tomorrow. Like, let's go, let's just head over there now. It was great. It was good fun. So yeah,
I remember that day. I remember like it was yesterday. What's up, Richard Scott? Welcome in. Yes, Tanya, we'll have to send you a message or something because I keep saying it and then I don't do it. So I'm sorry. We'll get together for sure. Daniel, let's talk about this movie.
Let's do it.
So here's the thing. 1940. What I always try to do whenever I think about these old movies, I put it into perspective that it's not the same type of directing that we get today. Yeah. Stories were told differently back then than they're told today.
Very much.
I try to really take that into account because otherwise I think a lot of times with these movies, we're going to give terrible reviews because it's going to be like, oh, it was terrible or the story they told was blah, blah, blah. I have to take it into account for 1940 when film in general was still very young. We're talking
very
maybe
much,
23 years old. Maybe really it's still an infant to where it is today. So I take that into account. For sure. Brian says, okay, I prefer classic movies to be done in black and white. Miracle on 34th Street isn't the same in color. I agree, Brian. I will say that. It's a Wonderful Life is another one. It's funny I bring It's a Wonderful Life into this, Dan, because the actual dad in Swiss Family Robinson is Uncle Billy from It's a Wonderful Life.
From It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes, he is. Yep.
Speaking of black and white, I've become since we started doing this show, I've really enjoyed watching black and white. I've felt more appreciative to black and white films. And I really enjoyed when we reviewed The Shaggy Dog and The Cat from Outer Space. And it's made me sort of go back and want to watch more black and white films. But then I picked up a film maybe about a year ago that was released in color that had a black and white version. And you'll probably appreciate this. There's a black and white version of Logan.
Really?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's called like Logan Noir, and it's all in black and white. If you haven't seen this film in color, it's amazing. But in black and white, it's really good. But I thought as we were on sort of the black and white discussion, because obviously we talk about film that's of its time. So it's really great that we still get movies nowadays that are still produced in black and white. So
yeah, agreed. I gotta say hi real fast to Craig's Robotics. Welcome in, and one of our newest members, Space Mountain Dave. Welcome in, Dave. Good to see you. Julian McCowan is here as well. So let's kind of get into this. For those that don't know, it is the same Swiss Family Robinson story that we've seen in other films, but this one I gotta admit, for me, goes a little bit. How do I say this correctly? And I'm pulling up some of the IMDb stuff so that I can be prepared.
Yeah, I've got it ready. I will say this. If you've done the Treehouse of Magic Kingdom, you pretty much know the movie.
That's true.
It's very I think of its time, it's a very simple story. It's a very like you can easily there's not much sort of concentration power to watch it. It's literally very straightforward. So once you've climbed the treehouse at Magic Kingdom, you kind of know what the film is pretty much about. So
but let's get into it a little bit. Let's talk about that. Chris says Casablanca. Yes, that is another great
film.
Great film. Kylie Lee, welcome in. Good to see you as well.
Paul Engel, what's up?
Paul Engel, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Another member as well. Good to see you, and thanks for being here. So we have the family. We have the Robinson family.
Yes.
High-end family. I mean, this is a family of high...
Aristocratic
for sure. They're definitely all very proper people. They have 4 sons, technically.
Yes.
They have the baby, and then they have They have Jack, Fritz, and Ernest.
Ernest,
or Ernest. I think it's Ernst. No, it is Ernest. You're right.
Ernest, yeah.
Yep, no, Ernest. All 3 of them are very... What's the word I'm looking for?
They're very motivated and very good at setting sort of a
entitled.
Goal of what. Yeah,
entitled is the word I would use.
Driven.
The oldest brother, driven, but not in a good way.
Yeah,
and I think we'll get into that. The oldest brother is a soldier, wants to go to war,
military man.
Right, yeah. He loves Napoleon. He wants to be part of Napoleon's army, which Napoleon really isn't a good guy.
Coming from a Brit, I think knowing our history with Napoleon, you kind of get an idea if you know your history. Yeah. Quite an interesting debate there.
Yeah, and then of course Fritz, which is the younger or the middle child, he is one that wants to marry into a family of even more wealth that has millions of dollars, and he doesn't even care if he loves her.
Yeah, and he's into his fashion and being he likes to sort of look the part and make sure that his appearance is beyond everyone, and so yeah,
and Ernest is the bookworm. He's the youngest of the 3. There's a baby as well, but the 3 that really have major parts here. Ernest is kind of a bookworm, learning things. He's going to grow up to be like his brothers. And then there's the dad, which is Will Robinson. Danger, Will Robinson. I had to say it. I'm sorry. Lost in Space reference there.
Lost.
And then of course there's the wife Elizabeth.
Yeah,
and of course the baby. And so the dad is not happy with their life I guess they're in London, are they not?
So yeah, they are in Britain. They are in London. They came over from Amsterdam. I believe they were Dutch by origin, and then moved to London. And they wanted to leave London. Well, no. Was it William Robinson, the father, wanted to leave, take his family, and start a new life, get away from life as it was.
He wants to go to the colonies.
He wants to go to the colonies and leave London. To be fair, I don't blame him. It's it hasn't really changed after 80-something years. Actually, it's beautiful. Come and join. But yeah, they want to move to the colonies. So like whether it's Australia or whatever it is,
Right, you're right. I say the colonies, but it could have been Australia. I take that back. I said the U.S., but it was the early 1800s. So the colonies are there in the U.S. at that point.
Yeah, it could have been Canada. It could have been a Caribbean island. It could have been anywhere. So
Eden Current, welcome in. Welcome into Stardio Studios as well. One of our newest members. Welcome in.
Hey, welcome in.
Being here. I want to take a step back, Dan, because the father wanted to leave and up and move them. They didn't.
Nope.
And let's be honest, they really weren't happy with it. But this is the early 1800s, and the dad makes the rules. Okay? I know we're in a different world we live in today, but what the dad says goes.
Yep.
Okay? It's that simple. If he says we're moving, you're moving, period. Doesn't matter. There's no questioning your father back in the early 1800s.
If he tells you to jump out a window, you jump out a window.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, Dan's kind of right. I don't think the dad would do that, but you're right there. No, not at all. But that's what he wanted. He wanted a new life. He didn't like the life that he had made for his kids. He felt like his sons were entitled.
Yep.
He didn't feel they were growing up to be good men. And he thought, father knows best. That's exactly right, Chris. And it's actually in the film. One of the boys that's writing a diary does say that. He does say, but father knows best. So they do that. He says, you know what? I don't like my oldest son wants to be part of war, not for the good of the people, but just because he wants to kill. My middle son wants to marry into a family just so he can have riches and fame. And my youngest son is becoming just a bookworm, not thinking of anything else. So he didn't like where his sons were going, and he felt a change of scenery is what they needed.
Yeah.
Whether they liked it or not, that was his decision. He had sold the home, and he had sold their business, and he says, "We're going.
We're going, whether they like it or not."
Right, and they didn't. They weren't very happy, especially the mom.
Yeah.
She was not happy.
Well, they were getting ready for a party, an event. She had a beautiful dress that was made for her. And, the father said, I'm sure it'd look very nice, but you're not wearing it.
Yep.
End of story.
Yeah, because we're leaving. And they did. And then the next couple scenes, you see them packing everything up and everything's being shipped out and literally shipped out. Because that's where, after we see everything getting packed up, the next thing we see the whole family on this ship that's being they're basically chartering the whole ship. They're the only ones on there other than them and the crew.
Well, clearly they were, they could afford it. By the way, this is an incredibly rich family. It's probably it's like getting a private jet with everything that you own. Mm-hmm. They pretty much paid for the ship on its own. Mm-hmm. They could start a new life and build again. And it was literally just them, some crew. They let the butler go and retire after they left. Like it was, they had a lot of money.
Yeah, right? they had enough to be comfortable for sure.
Oh yeah.
So as we get on the ship, by the way, everybody, thank you for asking about Melissa. I agree, Brian. This family is so awesome. Talking about our Disney family, I love how everyone's concerned about Melissa's headache. We all show and love respect for each other, even though we're not an actual family. I love it. Well, we kind of are family.
Yes, we are.
We are.
We are a family.
Sure, I get what you're saying, Brian, but yes, you're family for sure. But so yeah, he puts them on the ship and they're sailing, and they've been sailing for a while. Everything's been smooth. They're bored. There's nothing to do. It's not like the ships we have today. There's nothing to do.
There's no aqueduct or
there's no movie theater to go into.
There's no fireworks cruises at 9 o'clock. Or welcome on deck show.
Yes, Cynthia, I'll send you your allowance. But so yeah, they're kind of struck by boredom. They want to get there. I mean, at this point, they're like, let's just get there. If anything else, we don't want to be on this, but let's go. And then that's when it hits. And this is a big thing back in the 1800s when it comes to ships. One of the worst things for a ship would be to hit a terrible storm.
I think
not like ships today.
I think if there's one thing you can expect from a Disney movie that involves a ship, it will always be a storm. Little Mermaid, Pocahontas, Frozen.
Yes, it's going to sink.
Tarzan. Every ship that you see in a Disney movie, it's going down.
Yeah, the ship's going down. Welcome in, Curtis Mitchell. Good to have you here. Thanks for being here.
Oh, God.
So that's the thing. And this is actually a little different because what happens is during this big storm, the ship really doesn't go down.
No.
The crew, because they were told to go below. The family Robinson, go below. We're going to handle this. Get in there. It's a really bad storm. What they didn't realize was all the crew had been swept. They were swept.
Yeah, swept away. Yeah,
it was swept away, and there was nobody manning the boat. So the boat did actually land aground. It's shipwrecked on just outside of an island, on a reef, I guess. Maybe it was a reef. But the family survived, but none of the crew did, which was interesting to say the least. Let me say hi to Frozen Mama 77.
Hey, welcome.
Rebecca, welcome in. She says, howdy, Walt and Melissa. I really liked this movie in my childhood, Disney movies growing up. But now as an adult, I agree. It's not realistic for a family to go into the world we live in now. Well, no, it's not. But this is telling a historical event because you're right. We have better ships today. That, knock on wood, wouldn't really happen today. You'd have this, that, and the other to help you get off the island. But for the time, it made sense. I mean, ships went down all the time back in those days. They just did. They weren't made great, and they would hit storms, and it would take weeks, sometimes months, to get to where they were going. I mean, the crew abandoned ship, kind of.
Look at Captain Jack in the first movie. He only arrived on top of the crow's nest. I mean, all ships go down in those times. So
right, exactly. Kylie, welcome in. Kylie Caperton, welcome in. And Kylie. Max, welcome in, Max. Good to see you, buddy. How are you? Max Milano, check. Good to see
Max.
So the ship lands aground just outside of an island. They see that there is an island. Bad reef, though. Bad surf, if you want to call it. The water is extremely choppy. It's hard to get from where the boat was hit to where the island is. That would be like
for safety, for
the safe haven, for sure. But they ultimately find a way. They build a raft, right, Dan?
Yeah, I'm Ernest, the second youngest child, was actually really enthusiastic about this. He was like, "Oh boy, let's build this raft." And I do want to say that the speech in this film is very sort of it's not like my English accent. It's a very posh, very upper class,
for sure,
British accent, and brought up the right way. And they're all really excited about it, to build a raft, except for obviously the mother. But what was interesting about it is, because this was, the 1900s, around the 1900s, well, Napoleon time, they still had all their livestock in the ship. So how are they going to get their precious food, their livestock, without them drowning? They needed to get all these animals onto the island.
Right, because the ship is ultimately it's ran aground on this rock, but when the surf at some point comes in, it's going to take it under, and then it's going to be a watery grave, as they put it, for the livestock. So Dan's right. They were like, "Look, we can't leave the livestock. First off, we can't do that to them, and secondly, we need them. We need them for the for the eggs, for the milk, for this, that, whatever it might have been." Brandy Baez, welcome in.
Hey, Brandy.
Brandy says, "Great thought. I'm going to have my boys watch this before we go on the Disney."
Yeah. Or just watch Titanic. I mean, either or is fine.
I think Titanic would be worse, because that's more, that was a ship for sure.
It's still a long time ago, to be fair.
Yeah, that was 100 years.
But this gets to one of the scenes in the film which I just don't get. So they had these barrels, right, full of whatever it was, wine or water or just something in it.
Gunpowder.
Maybe gunpowder. But obviously barrels are good for as like a flotation device. They use them to float on the ocean. So they kind of strapped one on each side of an animal and let them float. Kind of like a swimming stabilizer, I guess, like if you're riding a bike.
Right.
And they would,
What's up, Wendy?
attach it. Hey, Wendy, good to see you. And attach it to a piece of string to the raft that they built, and then they would pull all the animals across the sea in this really bad storm while they were paddling, like with little paddles. I just don't believe that they can paddle all this livestock to the land.
Well, here's the thing. But I guess here's how I look at that. Christine Hickman, welcome in. Good to see you. Thanks for being
silly.
Here.
Hey, Christine.
Well, here's the thing. Think about this, though. If you're an animal and you're in the water, what's your first instinct?
Scream, moo.
No. Swim. You try to swim.
I don't know how many chickens you've seen ever swim before. I mean,
I'll give you that. But the cow, the pig, and all, they're all going to do the doggy paddle. They're going to try and swim. Yeah. They're going to expect to go under, just like the dogs. I mean, I would think you're right. I mean, it's still unrealistic.
It's very far-fetched.
It is far-fetched. But I would think that they weren't pulling dead weight. I would think the animals were trying to swim to the shore. No, I would think that would be any living being's first instinct, is to try and stay afloat. Yeah. So that you're right, though. It is far-fetched. I don't know. Would have been better was more trips back and forth.
I think it would have worked.
We'll take the cow and the pig first. Then we'll come back and we'll get the chickens. And then we'll come back and we'll get the this and that. I agree. Pulling them all at once, I think that would have been impossible.
Was it bad when I was watching the film and I saw the cow going through the water? I was thinking of a surf and turf.
I knew you were going to go there. Surf and turf. Oh my God, you're so funny.
Sorry for all you vegetarians and vegans out there. I'm sorry.
I feel sorry for sloths trying to swim. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Exactly. It'd take him a week just to get ashore if he doesn't already die of either thirst or hunger.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine a sloth diving into the sea and be like,
It's more like you just have to fall in. Anyway.
could you imagine Flash from Zootopia diving into the sea?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But ultimately, guess what? They succeed. They do get ashore.
Right.
And they're there, and they get the livestock up there and all this and all. And the one thing I do like about this film is they're a very religious family. They're very they're faith oriented for sure. They talk about praise God all the time, and it's by God's hand that we are here, and it's by God's hand that we're still alive and we made it, even though the crew didn't. So they've referenced it a lot. Like, for instance, hey, Kay Atwood, welcome and good to see you. I gotta say this, and maybe it's a little over the top, but not for me. It's not. Like when he was talking about the mom says, "Our boys are good men," and then he points to the picture of Christ and he goes, "No, that was a good man." I actually like that.
Look, I'm not part of that faith, but that was a fantastic line. It was really
exactly right.
Like you could appreciate that for its time and for the symbolism of what it is. I think it was a really great piece of writing there. It really was.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it was. Mary Ellen Martin, welcome in, and Nathan Rita, welcome in. What's up, Nathan? Good to see you. So they did make it. They made it ashore, and the dad's there, and he's like, you know what? I think this was a sign. Everything going on in the world today, it's corrupt. We don't want to be a part of that. I think we can make a really good life here.
Right.
Nobody else is on board at first, especially the mom. Right, Dan?
Mm-hmm. I mean, she hasn't been on board from the start, to be fair.
Right. No, she's not. But ultimately, these boys they're uppity, they're high class. They don't get their hands dirty. They don't know how to do anything. And the dad kind of does, but they have to learn. And over time, they do learn. They learn to do this. They learn to get firewood. They learn to make things. They learn to fish. They learn to hunt. As time goes on, they're learning these different traits that you do need to have to survive in the wild like that. I like that.
I mean, here's this is our obscure reference of the video of the stream. This is pretty much a Disney-fied version of Castaway with Tom Hanks. Pretty much.
Right. But remember,
except them going, Wilson, they're not doing that, but it's
no.
They are shipwrecked on an island.
Right.
It's
right. Well, Castaway is actually their version of this.
Right.
But Dan's absolutely 100% correct. But it's learning to adapt to your surroundings and try to survive. I mean, right? Isn't that as human nature of any human is to survive? That's just our nature. You find ways to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about survival for sure. And the dad's there and the mom's there and the baby's there and the three boys, and they're doing what they have to do to survive. Sean Christensen, welcome in.
Hey,
Noah, what's up, buddy?
Hey,
welcome
Noah.
In. Good to have everybody here. So, Dan, as time goes on, they're learning to do things. They're learning to build.
Yep.
They're learning to hunt, fish, do whatever it has to do.
Yep.
The boys are coming around a little bit. They're still talking about, it would be nice if we could get rescued. The mom, on the other hand, she's still not coming around. I mean, the dad was like, you know what? We're going to make a life here. We're going to live here. The chances of us getting saved are slim to none because this is not, these are not shipping routes. What are the chances of a ship even coming by? But the mom was like, will you please light a fire for a signal? Please.
Yeah. It's
kind of her outside hope of getting rescued. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, she wants to get back to throw her party and live her aristocratic life.
Well, look, I would be the same way. I mean,
yeah, of course.
You're used to the life you're used to.
Yeah.
And that's the majority of us. There are some that can go out there and say, yes, we're here. We're going to make the best of it. We can do it. Let's go. Most people are going to be like, we need to get off this island, man. Let's go.
It's very difficult from going in a situation that they were in, where they were very well off, very wealthy, they could pretty much do whatever they wanted in life, to pretty much a basic lifestyle.
Primitive.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's very hard to do that. And even nowadays, like, you don't see anyone doing, drastically changing stuff like that. It's, why
No, they
would
have
you? Why
TV
would you?
shows on it to see how hard it is, called Survivor.
Yeah, Survivor, or if you're in the UK, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. It's the same thing,
They still have that?
Oh God, yeah, it's a
That's
great
awesome.
show.
They tried that in
Hey,
the US, it didn't work. But
no,
Karen Cook, welcome in. Good to see
hey
you. Thanks for
Karen.
being here. Another one of our members. Good to have you in. Hope you're doing well. But so as time goes on, they actually build up a relatively nice place for themselves there.
Built
They
a
take a
treehouse.
lot of the stuff from the ship. They bring it over because remember they were moving, so they took everything. Everything they owned was on this ship. So they had some stuff, some comfort stuff for sure, luxury stuff.
Certainly, there were essentials and non-essentials. It was very
Yes.
much like, what do we take? What do we not?
Right. Like they took the piano, they took some of the other stuff. Piano's not necessarily essential, but they took it anyway. Some of the things that are going to help them to kind of still have a sense of normalcy of the old life, but then they brought the essentials like all the work tools and everything that they needed to have as well. Kim Daniels, another member, welcome in. Good to see you. And they did, Dan. They built a really nice treehouse.
Yeah.
We talked about it earlier. They had a nice dining room. They had places for everybody to sleep. They tried to make it as comfortable as possible. And, as time goes on, they thought it was starting to work. Wouldn't you agree? But the mom still wasn't
having it. No,
she wasn't.
Still very against the idea. Even though all the boys pretty much were now on board with it, she just couldn't do it. She just couldn't get over that barrier.
Right.
So, but William did something very thoughtful, which probably was more, I think, for the most of this film. Obviously, he's quite sort of selfish and he's selfish in a selfless way. He wants to do the best for his family, but he's doing it his way.
Yes.
And we found that on the ship, when they recovered from the ship, he found the dress that his wife was going to wear at this event, at this party, and he manages to rescue it, even putting his life in danger because he fell off the raft, which he was saved by the eldest son.
Yep.
They managed to bring the dress back from the shipwreck to shore, which was obviously a huge surprise for the mother when she finds out that he brought it back.
Yeah, I agree. But one of the things I did like about this, Dan, is we do see the progression of each character learning how to do things. Like the middle son didn't even want to get worms out of the dirt because he's got to get his hands dirty. The oldest son, learning how to shoot a rifle and hunt. The youngest son learning to tie knots and things like that. And then the wife trying to learn how to cook. She never had to cook. She always had people cook for him. Like when she makes the first soup and she's got all the salt and just holding the salt there and just holding it and holding it and holding it. And then they put this and that and they all sit down to dinner and it's terrible. But she got better as time went on. She became a better cook. She became a seamstress. They all had to learn.
They replaced their clothing with stuff that they found, with the resources that they had, and they literally had to adapt to the lifestyle that they were now living in. So they couldn't live their aristocratic life in the jungle. It just wasn't possible.
Right. Yeah. And the different things they do, like the oldest son had come to age where he could learn to smoke a pipe. Yeah, obviously they're not gonna have that in today's age, but they did talk about that. And of course, Disney always has the warnings in the very beginning.
It gets worse later on.
Yes. Oh, you mean when the other brother did it too?
When the younger brother did it.
The youngest one did it too? Yeah, they were all...
You would not see a child smoking in any film nowadays, but you do see a child smoke in this film.
Yeah.
Just as a cautionary... They give you a lot of caution.
The youngest, he's probably, 13?
No, yeah, maybe 12,
Not the
13.
Baby.
No, the second youngest, Ernest, 13. Yeah. He's about 12, 13 years old, and he's smoking a pipe. I mean, it's
I'd say they're 13, 16, and 18 to 19. That's how I took it.
Yeah.
But anyway, So that was kind of funny. So they're trying to live their lives. They made this nice little treehouse for themselves. They're doing the best they can. Mom's still not on board, but she's trying to make the best of it.
Yeah, she's trying to get on board with it.
Right. And then there's this big I think it was a hurricane. I didn't just take it.
Yeah, it was a hurricane or a storm.
It was definitely a hurricane.
Yeah.
So they finally had a hurricane come through because it was a really bad storm. And they get inside the treehouse as best they can. And the storm is so bad that they realize that the actual treehouse may not be safe. So they come out of the treehouse. Oh, let me go back. I'm going to take it back for a second because I got to go back because I missed a whole important thing.
We got to go back. There you go. That's the lost reference. Lost reference in the show.
There you go.
We've got Castaway and Lost in this episode. I mean,
I know, right?
Done.
We're done. I love it. What was like season 3 or 4? When
Jack
says, "And we have to go back.
We gotta go back.
We gotta go back." He's screaming at the airport and crying. Anyway, with the beard and
yeah.
Gene, welcome in. Good to see you.
Gene.
Actually, I want to go back for a second. So the whole time they're there, again, the mom was not on board. When they did finally show her the dress, she really was distraught, and she was like, "You know what? I don't want to be here. Please, we have to leave." And the dad was like, "I really don't want to." But the mother was so distraught about it. And the he's distraught because he doesn't know that the mom loves him anymore. Mm. And now the boys are feeling the same way because they feel for their mom. And they're like, "You know what, Dad? I think it might be time." And the dad's like, "You know what? Fine. We're going to build a boat." And he does. He starts to build a very good, sturdy boat that they think is going to probably get them off this island. It's a good boat. He's starting to build a nice size boat for sure. And then that's when the hurricane hits. And, they all get inside and they realize the treehouse may not be quite safe enough. Yeah. And they come out of it and lightning is hitting and everything. And the lightning strikes the treehouse first and destroys it. Yeah. Then the lightning strikes a tree and the tree falls on the boat
that they were building.
And the boys are distraught. Mom is distraught. But Dad actually isn't. Dan, if you remember, they show a close-up at the dad, and he's actually... It's almost like he had an epiphany, and he was really happy.
In relief, wasn't he? He was quite relieved that this kind of thing happened. It was sort of like a moment that was meant to be, like fate, almost.
Well, he kind of says that, too, because after the storm, he comes up and goes, "This was God's hand in this. He doesn't want us to leave. He destroyed that boat, and we're not going anywhere." He said, "I'm not doing it again." End of story. And that was kind of where we were from that. That was kind of an interesting,
and it was and it was a pivotal decision for the rest of the film. It was it was a decision that will impact the end of this film, for sure. Mm-hmm. Now, we get into sort of the final 20 minutes of the movie, and the youngest, the baby, there's been sort of this running theme that the baby will never talk. Has never spoken a word.
Until he has something to talk about.
Until he has something to talk about. Now, Ernest, the second youngest child, and the youngest child end up in like a cavern, a cave, or something like that.
They were chasing butterflies, and the butterfly went into this cave, and in this cave there were cobwebs. There were.
Here's another movie for you. Imagine Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Shelob's Lair.
Yeah. Lots of cobwebs everywhere, except this spider was not gigantic. It was it was a lot smaller. Yeah. And Ernest, the second youngest, actually gets bitten. And no, he doesn't become Spider-Man. He actually almost collapses, and
he does. He does collapse.
He collapses, maybe poisoned. We're not really entirely sure.
Actually, we are sure, Dan.
Are we? Did I miss that?
Well, yeah, because what happened was he's bitten by a venomous spider for sure. Because He falls, he collapses, he passes out, and the baby the youngest, goes to mom and dad, and finally kind of talks and leads them back to where Ernest is laying there. And actually, in a really kind of interesting scene, Dan, the dad says, "Give me a knife."
Yeah.
And what they don't show it, but
No.
what he's ultimately doing is opening him up a little bit. And then you see him suck the poison out, because you see him go in and then he spits. And that's what he's doing. He's sucking out the poison from the spider.
Yeah.
So that's why that's how I took it, as yes, it was definitely a venomous spider. And then they have to take Ernest back to the camp. And now the mom even more is like, geez, my son,
we gotta go.
Die. We got to get out of here. And then the dad actually kind of says, you know what? This is my fault. We wouldn't be here like this today if I hadn't brought us here. And then the other sons are like, look, Dad, accidents happen.
Yeah.
An accident could have happened here or there. And finally, the second youngest, Ernest,
survives. Yeah.
He's fighting for his life, but then he finally does. They said the fever is broken. He'll live. And I was actually kind of worried. Even though I know the story, I thought in this version they were going to kill him. I really did. I was like, geez.
Kill off the character.
Mm-hmm.
And then finishing up when he started to recover, the two oldest boys, Fritz and the oldest one's name is
there's Jack and Fritz and Ernest.
Jack and Fritz were sort of out by sort of the ocean.
By the shore.
By the shore. And they see a boat. And without any hesitation, they grab a small boat and they paddle all the way up to the boat. They get brought onto the ship, and almost I took it as tell them the story, what happened, how'd it go. We need help, we're stranded, all that kind of stuff. And they sail all the way back to tell William, the father, and the mother, and the rest, and the two other boys. Yeah. And this goes back to the decision, right?
Right. No, it does, because what happened was, Dan's right. They had built a little canoe because they figured they probably need a canoe for this, that, and the other, traveling down the streams and the rivers on the island. But Dan's right. They saw the ship, and I actually really like this. But hey, Joshua Torres, welcome in.
Hey, Josh.
Anthony the Molar Man, welcome in. Good to have you here.
Hey.
I like it because I think it's very real, Dan. If that was me, as soon as I saw that ship, I would have got right in that canoe and said, let's go right now. We are not waiting.
I'm going to paddle till it kills me. I'm getting on that boat.
So that was smart. And you're right. They got on there. They come back. And they said, we're saved. There's a ship. And everybody's happy. And the dad's even happy to an extent. And the mom's happy. And they're there. And the dad, he says to the boys, you're men now. You can go. And then he looks at the wife and he says to the wife, Elizabeth, I want you to go. I want you to be happy. But the dad's not going.
Why? Because
I don't know how to take that, but he's like, I'm going to stay behind.
See, how I took it was because of the lightning storm, and that it was almost like because we did talk about how religious he was. For that thunderstorm, he said it was a sign that he should be staying on the island.
Right.
That maybe for him to stay on the island was that, it was good for him to be on the side of God, which told him not to.
Right. And the youngest, Ernest, also said, I'd like to stay too, Father. And
he's an adventure kind of guy.
Yeah, for sure. So
even though he nearly died.
No, but he did. He wanted to stay for sure. I thought that was neat. And then, the wife's like, you would want me to leave? And the dad's like, I just want you to be happy, is ultimately.
Yeah.
He said it in the 1800 type of way, but he's ultimately like, I want you to be happy. And I know that you're not happy here. And that's when the wife says, my happiness is with you. And she does decide to stay. And the dad, and of course the baby's going to stay. So the two oldest boys, they do leave. They say goodbye to their mom. They say goodbye to the baby. They say goodbye to their son. I like the scene when they're there with their dad and they shake his hand, but then they do hug him. They're like, no, I need to hug you. Because they really do. They love their dad. They do.
I do feel bad for all the miles they had to go to the boat and back and then back to the boats.
I don't think they're probably so
waste
happy
of arm power.
Yep. But like the dad said, and then the dad said, look, we're here. Come back and see us. Now that this
Yeah.
this boat, and now that this island has been found, there will be other ships and there will be colonists, for whatever that's worth, that will come here and live here.
Eventually.
That right. It's just kind of their way of saying they're not lost anymore.
And then they will
can get off
the island as founders.
Exactly.
The evil Robinsons. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, exactly. Right. It's like the others. Anyway, and then that's it. And then you see the two boys wave at the mom and dad and the family as they go off to the ship, and they say the end. And there you have it. The Swiss Family Robinson, first movie ever made about the book, because it was a book first.
Could you say the first ever film based around a Walt Disney World attraction? But technically, the attraction was
right.
But it was probably the first film that was
no, not at all. Snow White.
Snow White
was 1932.
Pinocchio, Dumbo.
Yeah.
Okay, first live action. Wait, when was 20,000 Leagues? Actually, you can count Frontierland and all that. Just ignore everything I just said for the past 30 seconds. There you go. It's late. It's nearly midnight, so I'm just losing my mind.
Leagues Under the Sea, 1954. So
yes.
There you go. See, you're all right.
James Mason.
Let's watch the remake now. Actually, Matt, I've seen the remake, so for what it's worth.
James Mason. Right.
Yep. James Mason. Oh, Kirk Douglas.
Yep.
I love James Mason, though. He's a good actor. Was. But anyway, so there you go. 1940 Swiss Family Robinson, the first one ever made. We have now come to that time when we will give our review of the movie. We will give our favorite character in the movie and then a letter grade. And we would like for you all in the chat to do the exact same. So if you've seen this, if you watched it, we're gonna get to you guys in a second. We are going to talk about your letter grades as well, and tell us why you gave the letter grade too. We'd love to know. But I will start with my co-host, since he is the guest on my channel this week. Dan, your overall feel for the movie, your favorite character, and then your letter grade, please.
We do want to say before I guess that's my review, our letter grades are from an A+ down to an F. So whatever you'd like to give it, if you've seen the film. And if you haven't seen the film, please go out and watch it. We recommend all the films that we watch. They're all on Disney Plus. So get your own opinion and then leave us a comment after the stream.
Hey, Sandy Pandy, welcome.
Hey, Sandy Pandy. Oh, I love that name. My review. So we've done 40 episodes of Disney movie review, and I can honestly say I've been pretty much positive on pretty much all of them. I'm going to try and stay positive on this film. I think because of its time, it's very hard to judge. And I think we had the same opinion when we watched The Shaggy Dog, as well as The Cat from Outer Space. You got to take it for its time. I am not going to lie to you. I found this film quite boring. I was really not invested. There was not enough comedy or not enough drama or action. There was nothing really. It was just a simple story, which is why I forgot a lot of the detail, because I just wasn't as invested as the film, and that may be because of its time. I do want to say I hated the music in this film. Every 2 minutes there was the same piece of music, and it just kept on playing exactly the same. I could not stand it. I really did not enjoy it. I know it's from a famous composer. I can't think of it as right now, but there was a piece of music that was played every 2 minutes, and I hated that. I absolutely hated it. The characters were fine. My favorite character was Ernest, for sure, out of all of them. I just wasn't as, I don't know, I just didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought I would. Maybe I would enjoy the remake, or I don't know. It was something about it I just wasn't connecting with. I'm not saying it's a bad film. It's certainly for its time. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I would have. So I was a bit sort of underwhelmed by it. I am going to give it a D, which is my lowest grade I think I've given on this show, which is really unfortunate, because I don't know. It's just something about it I just didn't click with. But I'm very happy to give it a rewatch and maybe watch the remake. But yeah, I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad that because I would have picked this up if we hadn't done the show. So I'm really glad that I did watch it, even though I didn't enjoy it as many of the other films we've watched previously.
Right. That's good. All right. Well, I'll do mine, and then we'll get to the chat, and
Sure.
then we'll do the big poll. I agree with Dan. I mean, it was a 1940 film. Okay. Acting back then was a lot different than it is today. How they did things is a lot different. I agree with Dan. It was definitely not as action-packed as we would probably hope from Swiss Family Robinson. It was very monotone throughout. I thought there were some fun parts here and there. I think there were some real poignant moments as well. Did it keep me interested? Not really. I got to agree with Dan. Would I go back and watch this again? Probably not. Not on purpose. For me, I'm going to give it a C-. I didn't hate it. I liked certain aspects of it. Swiss Family Robinson is a great story. I love I love the story itself. I just don't know that they told it as great as it could be. But it's 1940, folks.
Absolutely.
We got to take that into account.
Absolutely.
But I did enjoy parts of it. And so that's why I give it a C- for me. My favorite character was Fritz as well. I mean, Fritz, I like the older brother. I thought he was kind of cool. Ernest would have been next for me.
Yeah, I think this would be a great as a Disney Plus original series. I thought it would be quite fun to do a show like that, almost like a Disney Plus version of Lost. Maybe it would be quite cool.
Yeah, and I agree with Matt. I have seen the 1960 version as well. It is better. It is better. But let's get into the chat. And
yes,
see what everybody here. Cynthia
we'll go up to Brian Eisenhower says, I give it an F for phenomenal. Brian, I don't know how you spell phenomenal, but I'm pretty sure it's not that way. But
that's how he spells it.
I'm gonna say good. Yeah, cool. Candy Mo gives it a B. Jonathan Chunks a C. It's middle ground, not bad, not great. K Outward gives it a C. Charlie Weiss says, I watched it today. I didn't care for this one as much as the newer one. Matt gives it a very sleepy emoji. David Randall says, I give it a C. I like the father, but the baby was funny. I agree. The baby was funny.
The baby was funny, actually. I do like the baby.
There's Noah Adventures. Noah gives it a C. Charlie also says the pirate scene is the best part.
There is no pirate scene.
When they get turned into
zombies. There is a pirate scene in the 1960 version.
In the 1960 version. Candy Mum, I gave the B because I have a weakness for the classics. Otherwise, maybe a C, but not a D. I am sorry. Brian says my real grade is a C. Matt did say the 1960 version is better. Charlie says I give it an A for putting me to sleep. God. So sadly, I haven't watched this version but love the 1960 version. And we're not saying don't watch this film, although this is maybe not as positive as maybe some other films we've watched. We do recommend people to go and watch every film that we watch every week because you might really love this movie. You might really enjoy those films, and you just never know. You know, we've done those films, like we've said, like The Shaggy Dog and The Cat from Outer Space from those eras, and we've really enjoyed them. So you just never know. You just never know. So I would give this one a shot, see what you think. If not, it's totally okay.
I agree. No, I agree 100%. I think you definitely need to go out and watch it, make your own decision.
Absolutely.
You may like it a lot. I didn't dislike it. Okay, but it's not anywhere near the top of my list for sure. But so there you go. Swiss Family Robinson, original version in the books, 1940. It's 81 years old. God bless it. I think every character from that film is unfortunately gone except for maybe the baby. But
who is probably quite.
Well, yeah. You got to be at least 80 something.
80 something.
Yeah, for sure. Right. But all right, Dan, we have come to that time. Here we go, folks. We are ready for the poll for next week. Back on Dan's channel. We are polling for next Sunday, the 19th. I'm a little nervous, but here we go.
I do want to say, I want to ask you a question first before we make the next poll, which I recommend everyone watching. Do you remember the last animated film we watched?
Was it Bambi?
Oh, no. Bambi was way early. It was Tinkerbell with Courtney Rainwaters as our
right.
guest.
Yeah, the Tinkerbell movie.
That was a long time ago. I really want an animated movie. We did watch Thor: The Dark World last week, but overall, this sort of we've pretty much picked these old classic films. I would really like to have
we
a
need
modern
a big
film.
one. We need a good one.
We need a big one. Oh, you're putting me on the spot here. Right, drum roll, please, everyone. Here we go. Here we go. Can't do that one with this TV series.
All right. Throw that out.
I've thrown it out. That's 2 weeks in a row I've accidentally pulled a TV series. All right, here we go.
Next week on Dan's channel, it is...
Oh, God.
What's going on with
It's another classic movie.
What? I don't mind. I like the classics personally.
But this one, I kid you not, this could go under the George of the Jungle category.
Really?
We are watching, lady. I've been really looking forward to this one. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, Walt and I love our sci-fi. We are watching, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Are we watching A Black Hole?
We are watching The Black Hole. We are watching The Black Hole. Oh my gosh.
The Black Hole.
I have been waiting to watch this film for so long. I've hold off watching this. I've never seen it. I've heard some really weird things about it. I cannot wait to watch this film next week. And I want everybody who's here right now to go out.
You gotta watch this and come back next week.
And come back on my channel to watch our review of The Black Hole. This could be our George of the Jungle of the series, because obviously we do yearly series, so that we're in season 2.
Yeah, season 2
for the movie review show.
Well,
this could be our George of the Jungle moment.
Well, it could be your George of the Jungle moment. I've seen this film. I've seen it twice.
You've seen it twice.
I have. Again, this is one of those. What? One person's trash is another person's treasure.
You're gonna see Disney Plus headquarters are gonna see a sudden spike on the Black Hole statistics.
I hope so. Yes, guys and gals, go watch this film. Look, it's got a bona fide star in this film. Ernest Borgnine is in this film. If you know who Ernest Borgnine is.
No.
All right. Well, look him up. He's a very, very, very popular actor in the U.S. He's been in a lot of different things. He's in it. There's a couple other... Somebody else.
Is it 1979? I'm just having a look now. Yes.
What's his name's in it? Anthony Perkins. Psycho.
Maximilian Schell.
Robert Forster is in it.
Yeah. Joseph Bottoms.
Roddy McDowell's in it. Roddy McDowell. Everybody knows who Roddy McDowell is, right? Planet of the Apes.
I know Ryan McDowell.
No. That's right. Slim Pickens is in it too.
Anyway,
we'll get into it next week. Go watch this. Next week on Dan's channel. Guys, if you haven't already subscribed to Dan's channel, you need to subscribe. Former cast member, Disney enthusiast. He's awesome. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be a partner channel. So if you trust anything I say, this is where you want to be next week on Dan's channel. It's going to be great. Indoor plumbing. It's going to be big. There's another movie reference.
There you go. I love that movie, by the way.
Yeah, me too. I actually like that movie too. What's wrong with these scissors? Anyway.
When we do that movie, I've got a lot to talk about, by the way. But anyway, whatever.
Thank you all for joining us.
Yes.
Dean at The Live Place. Check him out, theliveplace.com. Check out our partner channels. This guy right over here, Disney Dan, Saturdays and Sundays. Disney Fiasco, Sundays here. Check out Steve on Mondays with Just Another Monday Night. Members, thank you to all of our members. You guys are amazing. We love you. Thank you for all you do. And thank you to our mods as usual. Hope everybody's been enjoying the streams. Gang, we are 90 subscribers from 10,000. I can't believe how close we are. We are right there. Tracy, welcome in. No problem at all. We are getting ready to head out. But Tracy, I appreciate you coming in.
Can you believe you're a 10th away to your silver play button?
I'm not ever going to get there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you are.
No, we're not. That's fine. Well, I don't care if we do or not, to be honest with you. My goal was 10. That was my goal. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to stop. But, I mean, that was my goal. Period.
Silver plate for Walt. Let's hashtag that. Silver plate for Walt.
I'm not worried about it. If we ever get the silver play button, that'll be great. If we don't, it's no big deal. Thank you guys for joining us. Dan, anything else coming up? Anything else you want to talk about?
No, obviously, very, very busy at the moment trying to move locations, new studio, new everything. So normally I do Disney Fiasco, my show that I do every Saturday, 7 p.m. On my channel. I am going a bit sort of occasionally at the moment because I am in the process of moving. So it's kind of a bit here and there and everywhere. But obviously I will be here doing Disney movie review with Walt. We do it on alternate days, alternate weeks. So next week will be on my channel. And then we'll be back on Walt's for the following week. I have some vlogs to release. So if you haven't checked out my channel, please do. I have a big library of previous Disney trips, cast member trips. So please come check it out if you haven't subscribed to me already. But if not, totally okay. If you want, just watch the welcome video. If you like it, fantastic. And subscribe. If not, totally okay. So, yeah. Thank you.
Yep. I agree. And Charles, you're right. Our 3-hour tours that we do from time to time, we'll do longer tours. We just need the weather to cool down a little bit. It's hot out there. It takes a lot out.
All right, you don't need to boast. It's okay. You know, I live in London. It's fine, but you know. Oh, it's too hot out here. You know, I live in Orlando where Disney is everything, but it's so hot.
Whatever.
It's raining outside every single day.
It's no, it's not raining here. Not yet. Every single day. Goodbye. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. Dan, as usual, brother.
For the good of all Cree.
For the good of all Cree. That's our saying. That's not Captain
Is it really ours?
It is. Well, I don't know.
We're gonna get copyrighted by the Cree and the Nova Corps, but it's okay.
Exactly. That's all right. We're always copyrighted now, so whatever. Everybody have a great week. Take care of yourselves and each other. And we'll see you next Sunday on Daniel's channel. Bye, gang.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Where's the end button? Oh, there it is.
I don't know. Somewhere. Bye.